The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. I'm Nancy Jackson.
And I'm Shannon Penrod, and we're excited to be here on the Autism Network this morning, live with you. Today is Friday. It's November 5th. It's like crazy that it's that late in the year already, Nancy. Don't you feel like it's flying by?
I agree. It's just flying by.
Great. Did you guys have a good Halloween? How was your Halloween?
Yes, Halloween was good. How about you?
It was okay. I should have called you and had you stop over. We did a whole Harry Potter theme in front of our house.
Oh,
it was
fun.
Sort of a last minute setup thing. We didn't have very many trick-or-treaters. And, but I, like I called Jill and Spencer Hart and said, you should come over. And so they came over, and I just realizing we should have had you bring Wyatt over. I don't know how into Harry Potter he was, but we thought it was fun. And then we had like maybe, I would say less than 50 trick-or-treaters. So
we were in Hidden Hills for Halloween, which they do a big Halloween there. So
that's way more fun. I know that's a tradition for you guys. That's super fun. And what did Wyatt dress as this Halloween?
He was a sheriff.
Very cool. I didn't even see Jem. Jem was at work. This is the phase of, but Joanne Laura has been poking me in the back for over a week now. We'll have to talk more about that later. But I know that she would say, good. It's good that he was at work, but I barely saw my kid. So that, was like, okay, what are we going to do? It's Halloween and we don't have a kid. So, but Jim and I managed to have a good time. So that was fun. But we're here today. It's Halloween is past. I do have to do a shout out and say happy birthday to my dear friend, Therese McLaughlin, who is amazing. And I've known her forever and a day and was the director of the Autism Monologue. So we're saying happy birthday to her today. Wonderful, wonderful woman. But today on the show, we've got another wonderful woman, somebody that both you and I just love and adore, Nancy.
Yes.
Tell the folks at home who's on today.
Eva Lund from Special Spirits Incorporated. Eva heads an amazing program out at Special Spirits Ranch, assisting those on the spectrum and with special needs with assisted riding and horseback riding lessons. And they have Danny's Farm located there at the ranch now. And she's going to tell us today about a new program they have, which is very exciting.
It's really incredible what she's created there. It's this little enclave where great things happen. And yes. she just keeps dreaming and making things happen. And Ava's always got something going on. And I find that it's a wonderful, you're the one who turned me on to it. You're the one that talked me into going there the first time. And for people who love horses, there are horses there and there's equine therapy going on. But it's also like, I feel like it's an artist community.
Yes.
As well, that she has great stuff going on there, has a kiln and, so, super, super fun place, Special Spirit Ranch. So she's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. But Traven is reminding all of you all the ways that you can be watching the show right now, whether you're watching us live or recorded in podcasts. We're live right now on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook Live. If you're watching live and you want to jump into the chat right now and say hi to us and tell us where you're watching from, Nancy and I love to hear from you. But as you can see, there's a bunch of other places that you can be watching, whether it's live or recorded. We are a free download wherever you get your podcasts. We are currently the #1 rated autism podcast worldwide. Thank you to all of you for making that happen. But because you like us, you share us, you review us. And if you would please continue that, what that does is allows us to be on the air, but it also allows for the content to get to other people. So if you see something you like here and think, boy, who could really use that information is my friend, and then put her name in the the conversation on Facebook, tag her, and then she will know to come and find this podcast. And it is free. I know sometimes, I'm telling people about it, and they're like, what is it you're selling me? Not selling anything. This is information that we're giving away free. Nancy and I are moms that have been through it, been there, done that, and want to make sure that we help those that are still finding their way. Right, Nancy?
That's right. We've been through it, and we're happy to share any information that we have with you and explore and discover things together.
Absolutely. So please check out, find the way that you like to watch us. If you see that there is a place that you would like for us to be that we're not, would you please alert us to that? Because it's probably that we don't know about that particular platform. We try to be on all the platforms that we can be. So we did mention that we have Eva Lund coming up, but we always like to start with some in the news. Sometimes it's stuff that hurts your head, either because it's so complex or because it's just so miserable. But we have a couple of good things in here, I think. First story up that I have in mind, Nancy, is from Spectrum News about some of the flurry of doubts, even though there's so many things that they've been finding out about the gut microbe. It seems like we still have some doubting Thomases that think that this may not have anything to do with autism.
Right. According to Spectrum News, despite the flurry of findings, doubts dog gut microbes role in autism. As they say, the gut microbiome is having a moment, and there's been an explosion of research over the past decade into the possible connection between microbiome and brain conditions.
Yes, I love this quote here that Gaspar Taranch Oldenburg, who is a consultant on the microbiome research for Simons Foundation, recently was quoted in Spectrum's parent organization saying there's no denying that the microbiome is part of the autism conversation. But he goes on to say, but it's a very complex conversation, and we're only starting to scratch the surface. I'm glad at least we're not, I saw the headline for this article, Nancy, and I got to be honest, I was like, what is the disconnect in the science community? Why? I mean, there are still people who are arguing that this has nothing to do with autism.
Right.
And I just feel like if you said that in a room full of autism parents, it would cause a riot.
Exactly. I think autism parents strongly believe in the correlation.
Well, yeah, I think we've all had that petri dish happening in our living room too long to deny that there is some sort of a connection. And I loved early on that, listen, I like set aside whatever your feelings are. But Jenny McCarthy early on said, how can you deny that what you put into your body and how your body reacts to it affects how you behave?
Right.
And she said, all you have to do is drink a beer and then see what happens to your behavior. This is not rocket science. So I don't know why there are still some people who are on the fence about this. I appreciate him saying that it's complex because individuals are complex. And that if they were going to prescribe something for my gut, Nancy, it would be vastly different for your gut.
Yes.
And if they were to say, well, autism moms of kids on the spectrum tend to have gut issues, well, that probably is true. But if they were trying to describe what each and every one of us, they would need a very long list. So if that's true of us, wouldn't that also be true of our kids?
Yes.
So I do love this article, and it talks about some of the hurdles that we're facing getting to the point where people will stop saying we're not sure if it has something to do with it. But I do appreciate that was the quote that jumped out at me more than anything else.
Right.
And they're doing a lot of studies. I love that because I've been talking about the L-reuteri for a long time on this show. I love that they're looking at that and how it equalizes stress hormones. I'm going to guess that in the future they're going to see that this L-reuteri is part of the probiotic thing and part of the answer. And as you know, we've talked about this before on the show, it's not widely available commercially in probiotics, especially a dairy-free version.
Right.
So if your kiddo is casein reactive, you can't commercially give this to your child, which I think is, I'm going to predict that that's going to change sometime in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
We'll see. So they're saying the verdict is out on this connection. So we'll see what comes up.
I just don't know how that could
be. The
be.
next article is also research-based out of Medical Express. A genetic study of heart defects and autism finds new causative genes.
Yeah. This bums me out a little, only because I thought we had just begin to see that there was a correlation between heart defects and autism, and this article seemed to make it sound like, oh yes, no, that's been widely accepted, and that kind of bummed me out. Did you feel like that was widely accepted before this article, Nancy?
No, I did not.
I mean, I know we'd covered it before, that they were saying there might be a correlation between the two, but this article says it's pretty prevalent, and
Right.
that for the first time, what they did, instead of just looking at genes for autism and looking at genes that might have to do with heart defects, they looked at them together at the same time. Again, seems like a duh if you've seen a correlation between these two things, but it's pretty amazing that when they looked at them together, they found a bunch more genes that seem to be indicative of having heart defects than they ever had without looking at autism at the same time. So heart issues just got a huge bump from the autism community, a huge bump, which I think is really notable and important to talk about, because I don't know about you, Nancy, but when I'm talking to friends that are outside the autism community and I'm really pushing for more dollars for autism research, my friends are like, yes, and that's important, and we really think that, that should happen. But let's remember that there are other issues besides autism, Shannon, and we need dollars for cancer research and all these other things. And my answer always is that when researchers talk to each other, the autism research has again and again and again led to breakthroughs in other areas. And here's another one. So hopefully this research will also benefit individuals on the autism spectrum, because apparently there's a correlation between the two. And that super bums me out and makes me want to get my kid to a cardiologist yesterday.
I know.
Does it make you that way too?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
All right.
And on the topic of research, there's good news that an Israeli autism center has received a massive donation of $13 million. The Canadian Israeli Azriela Foundation made the donation, and they're now they changed the name of the foundation, I believe. The center was renamed the Azriela National Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Research in recognition of the donation.
And they're hoping to make a huge impact, as you see in the headline, worldwide impact with these research dollars. I look forward to knowing what they're going to spend the dollars on, but part of the mission is that they want to put Israel on the map. Israel's already been on the map for autism research. One of the first studies that I remember coming out of Israel was the first country to show in their research that there is a correlation between dads being older and having kids on the spectrum. Israel was the first country to notice that. So I think this is exciting. $13 million. You can't sneeze at that. It's not couch change.
Right.
And the couch cushions. So we look forward to hearing what that research what we'll find out from it.
Yeah, it says it currently has information on about 1,200 children of an estimated 20,000 children with autism in the country. With the new funding, it is expected to grow to around 6,000 children.
And Enrico has written in and said, is it possible to see autism as a human evolution?
An interesting question.
It is an interesting question. And I think it's a question that that has a great space in the conversation, Enrico. I think that if you spend much time with self-advocates, they will tell you that this is how they view this, and this is how they want the world to view it. I will tell you that I think we're getting there. And I think we're getting there because of really good quality early intervention. Now, there are a lot of self-advocates that just heard me say that and went, no, that is not why. But many years ago, when the way they were diagnosing autism, you know, there were some, shall we say, some pretty severe cases, and those individuals were shuttled off to be in homes. And we never got to see them. They didn't get the benefit of any therapy. They didn't get to progress past where they were. They were often parked into facilities where no one tried to teach them. I think one of the greatest crimes against mankind. But then many years ago, with the advent of the Lovaas study, people started with those more what quote unquote severe cases. They started giving them therapy and realizing that a lot of times that those individuals could overcome the disabling aspects of autism and still have the very unique way that their brain worked, and that they could flourish, right? And this is the research that continues, trying to figure out, why do some kids make more progress than other kids? But what we see right now is a group of individuals, either because they had early intervention that was really good, or because their parents didn't shuttle them away to a place and said, I'm going to educate this child myself and give them every opportunity. We have self-advocates now who can speak out for themselves and say, listen, I have these capabilities. I can do this. I'm very good at this. I can be, the writer of a TV show. I can be, I can do all of these things. And so we have a world that is beginning to understand that when you look at the whole scope of what autism is, there are some disabling aspects to it, but there are some aspects to it that are highly evolved, highly evolved. I always say my son's brain works better than mine, hands down. If you were going to compare and go, who's more capable, who can do more things, who has more insights, my son, 100%, right? But if my son had not had early intervention and not been able to speak, would we have known? I don't know. I shudder to think about that. But I think that more and more companies are starting to go, we need more people who are on the spectrum working for us, because they bring a viewpoint that is better for our business. Right. We can catch more mistakes. We can get more things done. I think that that's the beginning of exactly what you're talking about, Enrico. Nancy, do you have thoughts about that?
All right. I think, as you said, the self-advocates would argue that this is a human evolution. A lot of them do believe that. And it certainly seems to be evidence that that's the case.
But it's tough if you've got a kiddo who can't toilet themselves, if right. You've got a kiddo who can't communicate, if you've got a kiddo who can't take care of themselves in the most basic ways, or has such sensory issues that to be in a room with a fluorescent light is painful to them. It's very hard when you're dealing with issues at that level to go, oh, look at how fabulous this is, and look at all the possibilities, and look at the evolution of this.
Yeah, it tends to be the much higher functioning of those on the spectrum that would argue this perspective.
Yes. But we are seeing that more, that is a bigger group than it ever was before. And I'm blaming that on a series of things, including better and more intervention.
Yes.
But I would love for us to be able to get to the point where we can include more people in that, to be honest. Okay, last story. we're talking about also from Spectrum News. I found this a really interesting article. I actually sent it to Dr. Grant Pichet, that in light of COVID, this is Rethinking Autism. I'm trying to see what the title of the article is. Rethinking Autism Assessments in the Time of COVID-19, a Q&A with Bishop and Zwaigenbaum. And I thought it was really interesting that one of the things that they identify here is in this article is that there is a terrible problem right now for people to get assessments, whether it's very young kids or adults. There's a terrible shortage of abilities to be able to get assessed, to get a diagnosis, which then leads to getting help and support and funding for it. But they're saying, you know, a lot of this is caused by COVID-19, but that what COVID-19 pointed out clearly is that the system was already broken, and that COVID came along and said, let's show you how broken it is.
Yes.
And that the hopeful part of it for me is that they say that, you know, what if we were to look at this as an opportunity to look at assessment from the bottom up and go, if this wasn't working before COVID and it's really not working during COVID, if it's broken and we have to fix it, maybe we should start over.
Right. Yeah. And that there is a disparity between, there's some economic and social inequities in terms of diagnosis, because some parents, the rates of the detection and age of autism diagnosis reveals a disparity, a lack of diversity among clinicians.
Yeah. It's twofold, right? Because we have kiddos that are being raised that their parents don't have access to healthcare, don't have stopgap people to say, here's, you know, your child should get looked at and here's where you should go. And that is targeting underserved populations. That if you are Black or brown, you are less likely to get a diagnosis because you're less likely to be told where the supports are. And when you get there, the supports are less likely to be there. But then on top of that, if you can surmount that and get to a clinic, then what you're going to find is all the clinicians overwhelmingly are not going to be Black and brown. And that we've already talked about, there's research to show that they're less likely to listen to the parents and hear what the parents are saying so that the parents can get to the point where their child is accurately diagnosed. All of that breaks my heart. But this article talks about how we could do better. Mm-hmm. How we can make this better. One of the things that they talk about is that, you know, during the pandemic, when you couldn't be in person, it was that much harder, right? But it did force some advances in telehealth, some of which is good and some of which is not good. And I love the fact that they address the fact that it's not always the most effective. And ultimately, one of the recommendations of the article is that a hybrid system that takes into account the individual circumstances is what is best.
Yes, I'm wondering if there's any change in the diagnosis figure since COVID happened, whether there's been less diagnoses.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know that we know that for sure, but that's one of those things, like Bill Maher says, I don't know this, but I do. I don't know this for sure, but I would say that diagnoses has gone down. We know that the amount of therapy that kids have been getting has reduced catastrophically. Mm-hmm. Not because parents weren't looking for it, but because there is a ginormous shortage in workers. Horrible shortage in workers. If there's anybody who's out there who is looking for work and would like to be a behavior technician, boy, now is the time. They need you desperately all over the world. I don't think there's a single ABA provider that isn't hiring right now, but they need good quality people. And it's not an easy job. It's not for everyone, but it's a good job with possibilities of moving up and abilities to change the world. So We encourage people. Enrico has written back in and said, is it possible that the gap can be partially recovered by spreading concept of conscious welcome in society starting from school?
Wow.
I just love that, Enrico. One of the things that Nancy and I talked about before on the show is that, yeah, I mean, of course. And Sesame Street, when they introduced, Julia, when they introduced Julia, someone said, what's great about this is that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, HR directors who are the hiring people are going to be sitting there and are going to be so much more understanding and welcoming of individuals on the spectrum. And when someone comes in to apply for a job and they don't make eye contact, because of Sesame Street, that HR director is not going to immediately have this thought in their head of, oh, well, this person couldn't make eye contact with me, so I'm not hiring them. That Julia single-handedly is doing a lot towards making that happen. But I think you're right. In schools and in society, we need to be teaching inclusion and acceptance, and the list is endless, right? It also, I believe, has to happen at home too. And I don't know about you, Nancy, but that's been the harder nut for me to crack, is that sometimes we've had play dates with people, even, people in my family who don't get it, and aren't inclusive and aren't considerate and aren't welcoming of people who are different, not less, different. It's a hard thing. And I love when people say, haven't we gotten to the point where we've gotten to autism awareness? I don't think so. I don't think
so either. I think there's still more awareness needed.
Yeah.
We have somebody writing in from West Africa here, Shannon.
Wonderful. And they're an autism therapist and a life coach in the military services. I was going through my pages and saw your page and decided to leave a message. So we're saying hello to you. We love making new friends too. So thrilled that you're here with us. Wonderful. Fabulous. So those were our news stories for today. We're loving this interaction. And if you guys have something that you want to say, write it into the chat and we'll say hello to you. But right now, I think, do we have our fabulous Eva with us? We do. She is here with us. And we said this before, but both Nancy and I just respect and admire Eva Lund so much. She's an amazing, remarkable woman. And I certainly would like to think of her as a friend. And Nancy, I know for sure that you think of her as a friend.
Most definitely.
And she is amazing woman who has started this incredible place, Special Spirit Ranch, where we were saying before, I feel like it's like an artist enclave,
right?
For people who are neurodivergent. So let's welcome Eva to be with us, because she's got a new program that I believe starts tomorrow. Eva, are you with us?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Eva.
Hi. And you both are dear, dear friends of mine. Of course you are. Yes.
We consider you to be a very special friend of Autism Live and personally.
Thank you. I find it so interesting what one of your chat people said about this whole thing about autism being the evolution, because that's how I feel. That, the gap from when I started here 13 years ago, it was like 600 to 1 on the autism spectrum. It's now down to 50 or something. And if we flip it, we are the ones that are the special ones, and autistic kids are going to run the world. And I look forward to that, because their souls are so genuine and so godlike in so many ways. So,
and you certainly see a lot of these individuals at the ranch, right, Eva?
Yes. And I must say, the pandemic came, and it became sort of something that felt very difficult, but it's been very positive. In reflecting back on it, it was really good to close doors and just have a small group of people coming, because we had a chance to delve into new programs that I feel are so needed in the autism community as well. And one of them we're starting on Sunday, and it's a voice and drumming session with a fantastic woman from England. She's an opera singer from England, has the voice of an angel, and she's worked with our people before, and her partner is a drummer. And I find the synergy between riding and using rhythms, so it's so profound, because a horse walking has rhythms, and drumming and singing has rhythms. So to combine it all, a lot of our kids, when they come and they ride, they hum and they sing and they follow the rhythm of the horse. So I'm really thrilled about this program. We're going to run it for 6 Sundays from 9:30 in the morning with voice, and then 11:30 to 1 with drumming. And it's free of charge. It's a pilot program that we hope to roll out next year as an after-school program. And we are thrilled to have Summer Watson and Aaron James participating in this.
So you can't possibly, this is live in person, right? This is not something that so there's a limited number of spaces. You can't have a ton of people to do this, but I love the fact that in this pilot program, this is a real rare opportunity that if you're in the Los Angeles area to have this for how many Sundays in a row is it?
6 Sundays in a row. And we are fully aware of that the drumming can be very sensitive for some of our clients. But we have a studio that's finished just recently, and we have the ranch, so we can always walk out on the ranch and sort of get away from the noise, if you call it that. And it's going to be a trial and error. I don't know what I'm diving into, but hopefully I can swim. So
I love that.
Yeah. Now, are horses being incorporated into it at all?
Not this time around. But we have so many other programs. It's like, Nancy, you have to come back out here again. Because I got a drama teacher that's now available, and we want to do a program where we invite like 10 kids, all inclusive, all ages. They write a play, they cast a play, they perform the play for their parents at the end of a 10-week session, which includes all the adaptive skills that we all need to get along with one another, and keep all the programs. I like to keep 6 to 10 people, so we can keep our distances and also not encroach on each other's space. So that's the whole idea with it.
Ava, I didn't know you were doing theater up there. Now you're talking my language.
Well, we have a pilot program for January that we want to start doing. It's like, I'm coming from an entertainment background back in Sweden, and I've always seen this thing that, a Midsummer Night's Dream on the ranch, where all the audience is following other people around. You were doing that out in Topanga Canyon, aren't you, Shannon?
No, we're at some point, I got so busy with other things. I want to do an inclusive production of 12th Night. That's what I want to do. So you're singing my song, sister. I've got a script that I've been working on for a while. Because I see this with our kids. I can see it in my head. I know it's good for them. You know why? Because it's the rhythm you were talking about. Yes. Shakespeare wrote in a rhythm that mimics a heartbeat, which is the same as the horse.
Exactly. Yes, you got it. I love it. Yeah, and then the other program, because our horses are getting older now, so we don't do so much teaching them riding per se. So we're doing a program called Walk and Talk, where we actually have kids in small groups, and they have to take care of the horse, clean the horse, put the saddle on, and then we take them out on a little short trail ride, and they need to socialize and talk to each other. So it's the Walk and Talk program, and it's been very successful so far.
And when did you start that program, Eva?
It's sort of evolved out of the pandemic, because we were so limited. So to me, the pandemic has been a great time to reflect and come up with new ideas, and find the people that are people that wants to help. And I got a new therapist on board. We do a lot with foster youth, and many of them are on the spectrum too. And we have the equine assisted program for them. And we work with a whole bunch of different clients. And to me, we're all special spirits, in a way. And it's and I do think that every single one is on that spectrum somewhere, and more than others at some point. And so the whole thing of being separate, it's so foreign to me, because we're all one. All is
Yes.
one.
Hey, tell us some of the stories you've seen evolving out of the equine therapy with kids on the spectrum.
I've
What kind of
had-
benefits.
And I still do, but one of them that stands out the most is I got a little 5 or 6-year-old boy coming. He was nonverbal, fingers in his ears, because the peacocks making their noise, everything made him cringe. But he loved the movement of the horse, and being on the horse, he had to say walk on to get the horse to go, and we helped him to start with. And then after several years, he is now you can't shut him up.
Really?
And it started with walk on,
Uh-huh.
and then it became more and more sentences. And then one of my favorite stories of realizing how smart, like you're saying, our autistic young individuals are, was Molly was a volunteer with us working here, taking care of the horses. And I gave her a list of 3 or 4 things to do. She did number 1 and number 2, and then she's disappeared. I can't find her. And I finally find her in a shed somewhere. And I walk up to Molly and I said, "Are you hiding here because you don't want to work?" And she said, "Yes." And I was stumped. What am I going to say to that? And I said, "Okay," and walked away, and was like, oh my God, I have to be more specific and much clearer in the way I use my language. Because how can you punish somebody that tells the truth,
Right.
So I learned, a lot of parents say thank you for what we do here, but I say thank you for our kids, because they teach us more than we teach them.
Mhm.
And the animals actually are the main teachers. And
Isn't
we got
that-
some alpacas up now. You have to come, Nancy and Shannon. We are
I
now-
love alpacas.
Oh, they are the best. And they hum.
I
Wow.
love
Yeah, they are. Rufus
Look
is
at
the
that.
brown one, and Casper is the beige one, kind of dirty. So down the line, when we get the fleece from these alpacas, we can start knitting and spinning and God knows what.
I want to come and spin. I've always
Okay.
wanted to learn how to spin.
Yeah.
S Shark wants to know, is there a certain age range you're looking for this group that's starting on Sunday? And do you need to be in LA County? If they're
Well,
willing to drive, can they
yeah,
come?
if you're willing to drive, absolutely. I think that they probably need to be around 10, 11, 12 and be able to follow a little bit of directions
Okay.
for it to work. And also, if there is too much drumming, be able to handle it, and also know when to walk away if it's too much.
I
But
find
we are-
though,
Yeah.
with drumming, because I've seen drum circles with kids on the spectrum before, and my son certainly participated in some. Has Wyatt ever done a drum circle, Nancy?
No, Wyatt has never done a drum circle.
Well,
Why
I
not?
gotta say, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I don't think this is gonna work, and then finding out that when you're in control of the noise,
Ah.
you can tolerate so much more.
That is so true.
So
And that thing with drumming I got from a resource fair that was at the help group, and they had this room with I think 50 kids all on different drums, and one person doing the rhythms, and then they followed, and it was wonderful. And it was like I wanted to do it too.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. I've participated in several of them now, and it's funny. I'm very noise sensitive too, and I don't know that I could have a child who was a drummer. I would probably lose my crackers.
That's when you send them to me.
Right? But I mean, somebody who drummed 6 hours
Yes.
a day. I have 2
Yeah.
friends that have kids that are professional drummers, and I think, bless you, because I just don't know that I could have handled it. But being in a drum circle where I have something to pat on too helps me to be. I can totally deal with the noise from a drum circle
Yeah.
because I'm part of the noise. I don't know why that makes it different, but I
But
love that.
I would love to invite you out, because the new studio that we built is going to be an arts and crafts studio. We've been doing painting, and we did a fundraiser with pet portraits, and we invited all our kids that came here to do portraits of the animals, and it was so fabulous. And we are in the works of starting to work with ESOL in Chatsworth. They're going to come and help us make horse cookies, and we're going to decorate them and take them to the feed stores.
Oh, how great. What a
Yeah,
great
because I want to find ways for our individuals that comes here to produce something that we can sell, and then they can feel that they're getting a check for something that they have produced, to start that process going. Because with the PIP, which is great, it's I think the actual production of something that you made with your bare hands is so deliberating, and so feels like you achieved something, you know.
Yes.
I've been saying for days that Joanne Laura is poking me in the back.
Right.
I miss her so much.
Yes.
And
But
this
She's
is,
my inspiration here
What-
too, you know.
what has she
Yeah.
been saying to you, Shannon?
Well, all kinds. She's basically saying, don't carry my work forward. Don't forget my work.
Right.
Carry my work forward. Find these kids employment, right? And I keep hearing it, Joanne. I'm listening. But one of the things that, I craft all the time. Like, I got to have some craft going on or I'm not breathing, right? That's my, stress reliever. And recently I got into pottery, Eva. Don't even get me started.
I have 2 kilns and a wheel.
I know you do.
I know. But I'm addicted to pottery now. But one of the things I was doing while Joanne was sick was that I was making wreaths.
Making
And
what,
every time
Shannon?
door wreaths.
Wreaths. Okay.
For every holiday, I was making wreaths, and I would bring one over to her, and she was like, "What on earth? Where did you get this?" And I was like, "No, I threw this together and made some wreaths." And she was saying we should get our kids to do this and sell them. So let me know sometime. I'll be happy to come out and do a wreath making workshop, and
Love it.
because I would buy them.
Yep.
It takes time to do them, and sometimes I don't have time, but they're super easy and creative to do and fun, and people always want wreaths on their door, whether it's for Hanukkah, Christmas, Thanksgiving,
Exactly.
fall, spring, doesn't matter what you're celebrating. I always wanted to be Martha Stewart and have 12 wreaths on the garage wall, one for every month of the year. But that's just
I'm
my
with
cycle.
you. And the thing is that just the mere fact that we got the alpacas, I've been out to the alpaca for picking them up. And she had so many great ideas, little bird nets that you hang out and fill them with alpaca fleece. And she also does, the alpaca poop is perfect for fertilizer. And what she does, she just picks it up and dries it, grinds it, puts it in a little jar, and you mix it with water. And I'm telling you, my plants are thriving.
Wow.
And it's perfect for orchids, which is something that some kids like to play in the dirt anyway. And
Right.
and the alpacas are so clean, and they poop exactly in the same place. So it's clean.
I just had this image of you on Shark Tank in like a year with a group of kids on the spectrum going, "It's alpaca poop."
What a great idea.
And
It's alpaca poop. And you put it on your orchid.
You just discovered this by accident, Eva, or you already knew?
No, this woman that breeds the alpacas was telling me about this. I'm stealing everything.
Yes. Package that up.
Not stealing, but being influenced by others, trailblazers, And you two are such trailblazers for our community of kids. And I thank you for what you do.
Well,
Thank you.
you're getting
a
it done.
trailblazer.
Yeah. So I want to go back to this event because it starts on Sunday. Today is Friday, and you could miss one class, but why would you want to? So you've got a little bit more room. And Traven, if you would put up the flyer again for this Sunday. So for people who don't know where you're located, Eva, talk to them a little bit about how they would get to you.
We are in Sunland, which is like, if you know Los Angeles, we're about 10 minutes north of Burbank Airport, in a little enclave of Los Angeles called Sunland. And it's once you have the address, which you can find on our websites, specialspirit.org, or you email me, that's at the bottom of the flyer, and I will tell you where we are and how to proceed. I have a feeling we might either not have enough kids for I don't have a clue actually, whether we're going to have enough kids for this Sunday or we might have too many. But, we have six opportunities altogether. And it's a program that is not totally defined. It's going to be trial and errors. And our clients is basically going to help us perfect the program, I think.
But it's a rare opportunity. It's totally free to be a part of this pilot program. Now, you said that there is the voice class in the morning and the drumming in the afternoon. Now,
so voice class is at 9:30. And you know what? All you guys should go on Facebook and look up Summer Watson. She has a voice to die for. She's a skilled opera singer with a profession behind her, and she's also a cancer survivor. And
Wow.
she is unbelievable. I'm so fortunate having run across her path. And then Aaron is a drummer in a band, and he loves drumming, so he's going to do the drumming.
How did you get introduced to these two, Eva?
Sherry Rubendahl, that used to be the farm manager for Danny's farm, that also resides here at the ranch, moved to Big Bear and gave trail riding lessons. And Summer took a trail riding, called me and wanted to volunteer with the horses. And then I looked her up and I saw who she was, and I said, forget horses, you're singing. And that's how this evolved 2 months ago. So it's brand new, and we'll see where we're going. It's going to be fun.
So if somebody wants to do the voice and they don't want to do the drumming, can they do that, or they got to do both?
Absolutely. Or both.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if you do want to do both, let's say mom wants to drop them off and they want them to do the singing and stay all the way through the drumming and pick them up later. Can they pack a lunch and send them, or do they need to pick?
Absolutely. Pack a lunch. And the only thing we do is, if people wants to donate to us, please do, because we're doing this for free because it's a pilot program, and we follow the business model. It takes money to make money. And so we are high hopes that this is going to be a very successful after-school program in the next year.
Okay. So if people want to donate, where should they go to?
Our website, Special Spirit, there's a donate button there that goes directly to the PayPal giving fund.
So specialspiritsingular.org?
Special Spirit, singular, no spirits here.
Okay.
Specialspirit.org, and that's our website.
Wonderful.
Ava, tell us a little bit about the Danny's Farm program at the ranch.
Yes, so Danny's Farm is a little partnership that we started 3 years ago. Danny is a young adult on the hold on a second, I'm just going to turn this off.
I love when we do things live, because then phone calls happen. Sometimes I even get a phone call.
I know, sorry about that.
No, somebody's calling to sign up.
No, it was the wrong phone. Danny is a young adult on the spectrum, and he loved animals, so his parents started Danny's Farm. They now reside here, and they have a work program. So we have 4 workers coming with a job coach from 10 to 2 every day. They take care of the animals. They feed them. They clean the stalls. They take care of our garden. We just recently, the other day, we had like a yellow squash that was probably about a foot long, and alpaca poop, I'm telling you. And so they're here and they work, and several of them are on PIP.
Love it. Talk a little bit about what the PIP is, because I think a lot of people don't know.
The paid internship program, it's paid by regional center, and they come and they do about 2 hours a day, and they get paid minimum wage. And the whole idea with the PIP is that after a year of PIP, they should be employed. And that's what we're gearing to, that it's like to have all these programs and teaching all our kids to be part of the programs, for them become mentors to other kids. So it's like that whole thing of, you start here and learn, and then you become a mentor. Because one of the things that I see is a lot of parents work, and for them to be able to have a kid here, they need supervision. how better would it be? It sort of, it lends itself to that somebody that's been through a program once can be the supervisor and the caretaker of a younger kid coming in the following session. So it's like a feeder program type thing.
Mhm.
That's
We love it.
kind of what
Well,
I have in mind.
We're actually trying to be a part of the PIP program here at Autism Live and Autism Network. We're hoping to be able to be a part of that as well, because we've seen it working some really amazing opportunities for
Yep.
people.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
we would like to do that too.
Yeah.
You're so amazing, Eva. I don't like, how do you come up with all these?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I have a brain that goes like this, but then I'm finally, thank God, is finding people that can help me implement them. I've had a lot of these ideas for many years, but if you don't have people that can help you actually further the mission forward, it's nothing happens. So right now I'm in a really good spot,
That's
and
great.
I'm very grateful for everything.
We love that. And I'm loving this new hair too. Ava, when I saw your
I
picture,
went
I was
on
like,
that-
who's that?
I went for natural and a couple of years ago, and it's kind of liberating too.
And I love the cut, but it's so different. I didn't recognize you. If you'd walked up to me on the street, you would have had to talk to me for me to know it was you.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's very hip.
Pardon me?
It's very hip.
Thank you. I'm trying to
And silver is
hide my age.
silver and gray is definitely the way to go these days. For
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, it's remarkable. You're remarkable. We just want to thank you for all that you're doing. If we can put the flyer up one more time, Traven. So if you are interested in this or you know somebody that you think should be interested, notice that you need to register for this, and that Ava's got her email there. It's eba@specialspirit.org. The first class is on Sunday, and then it will be this Sunday plus the next 5 Sundays again.
Yes.
This is a free class because it is a pilot program. They're going to suss things out. Hopefully this will be an after-school program next year, but for right now, this is just on Sundays for free. You can take either the voice class or the drum class or both of them. So it's a remarkable opportunity, but you must let Ava know, because she's got to know if she's got enough students to make it happen. Ideally, you'd like to have 6. Is that correct, Ava?
Absolutely. Yes. I think we do have that. I just don't want to have too many, but we will, we make it do.
and it starts
Okay.
It
If
starts
there is
at
a hard
9:30,
newsroom.
Ava.
Pardon me?
The start time is 9:30.
9:30. And remember, it's spring forward, fall back. So it's
Ooh,
actually
yes.
10:30. You
Okay.
gain an hour.
All right. You might have some people show up a little early.
What? It's better early than late.
Yeah, better than the other way around.
Yeah.
And then what time does the drumming class for people?
11:30. So
11.
it's an hour and 15, 20 minutes for each session. So
Okay, so it's
11:30
not,
to about 1.
so it's not so much packing a lunch if you want to do both, but a snack.
Yeah.
A little snicky snack, and
Yeah,
then you'll be done
yeah.
in time for a late lunch. But
Yeah,
what
and
a
then
wonderful,
we have people here that we can give a tour of the ranch and introduce them to all our animals.
Great.
wonderful,
Great.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, you're doing remarkable things there, Ava. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about it and tell the folks at home. Specialspirit.org. Go there, you guys.
Yes.
And if you're not in the LA area, but you love what she's doing, give a donation of any size. I know sometimes it's like, I don't have any money, but check the couch cushions. A donation of $5. If everybody gave that, Ava could change the whole world.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. and thank you for what you're doing and the opportunity to being on your show.
Oh, it's great
Thanks
to
a
have
lot.
you, Ava. Always great to have you.
We always have room for you. Much
we'll,
love.
We'll have to have you after
And the 12th
completion of this.
night is coming up, right?
What's that?
Well, we don't have it on the books yet.
Well, we're working on it.
The script is there. I know, but it's in there. It's in my head, and I want to do it. I want to do Shakespeare with our kids. It's on my
Get
list.
the kids, and they can dwell on your script. Okay.
All right. I want to see which one were you saying that you wanted to do? You wanted to do Midsummer Night's Dream.
Well, that's kind of what I've had in my mind about, people ask, well, where's Puck? And he's sitting up in a tree somewhere or something.
Well, once upon a time, I did for a production of Midsummer Night's Dream. I love to make puppets too. See, this is me crafting, and we did all of the fairies as puppets.
We've just been invited to Bob Baker's Marionette Theater in Glendale.
Oh,
We're going to see how we can do a collaboration there too.
Oh, stop. I love me some marionettes and some puppets.
Because one of the things that I feel with this autism community or the neurodiverse community is like there's power in numbers. And if we gang together, we can make miracles happen.
Anything. Yeah, anything. I love being around creative people because it just then it feeds more creativity.
Yeah.
But I could craft myself into the middle of next week. But we'll have to talk pottery at some time, Eva.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm brand new to it, but I've completely gone down the pottery rabbit hole.
Okay, good.
Just anyway. Yeah. And now I want to come and spin alpaca and I know for Nancy, you just want to come and be with the horses, right?
I just want to come and be with the horses.
We're having a baby next year, Nancy.
You're having what?
A baby. Gidget is pregnant. She's going to have a baby end of March.
Oh, how great.
We might have a new horse.
That's fantastic.
Can I make a suggestion, Eva? Why don't you do what they did with the giraffe watch, where if you mount a camera and so that people can watch and donate and then watch the birth live, you'll probably make enough money that you can build whatever you want to build.
Thank you. Yeah. We were going to have a foal shower.
That's going to be fantastic.
I love that. But people love to watch. Yeah. I mean, that giraffe birth.
Yeah.
I know I was tuning in every day for like 45 days. Wow. And people gave millions of dollars. And I know that's a giraffe, but I don't get to watch a horse being born. I know Nancy has, but I don't get to watch that.
I've assisted in horse births before.
Right. That was good. So you be my doula. Yeah. And and that's what Cassie is working on too. It's like we want to start a program called the Learning Ranch, when you learn everything about it. Everything is included in it. Yeah. So that's what's happening here.
Yay. You've got a lot going on, Eva. You've got a lot.
You better come out here soon, both of you.
Yes. Amen to that. Well, good for being here. I hope you have great classes on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, have fun. Happy seeing
I'll let you know how it goes. Okay.
Okay.
I take some videos.
Yes, okay. That'd be great. All right. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
So, Nancy, just to close out this week and talk a little bit about next week. On Monday on the show, we, for Autism Live, we have a new opener to the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have a brand new opener. Traven, I don't suppose you have it laying around there. We have like 1 minute and it's only 10 seconds. If you have it, Traven, let us know and we'll watch it again. It was created top to bottom by artists on the Spectrum, Nancy.
Where was it created?
So in conjunction with Spectrum Laboratory, we had a group of artists that collaborated with us and also created the music for it. Okay. So Traven's got it. And so why don't we go ahead and take a look at it? This is the new opener for Autism Live.
And opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Okay. Was it just on my end? I was having playback issues. Were you all
had a little bit, some glitches, but I think we got the general idea. I love the tree and love the idea of the tree.
Because the tree has always been a part of the Autism Live thing. So when we sat down to collaborate, I said they asked me a bunch of questions and they were like, is there anything that's been a through line? And I said, well, I'm big into the whole tree metaphor. And they came up with the birds and the birds making little meep, meep, meep. And in any case, we're just so excited about what the process was like and working with them. And more than anything else, we're excited about the fact that everybody got paid.
That's fantastic, Shannon.
That
You
is
are
fantastic.
you are definitely living the change that Joanne Laura wanted to see in the world. So,
well, she poking me, so I better. But that was very exciting for me, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, duh, of course everybody should get paid. But, you know, we've had to alter our mindset too. And anytime we have something that needs to get done, we're saying to ourselves, is there a person on the spectrum who can do this job for us? What support would they need to have to be able to do it successfully? You know, how can we make that happen? That is our new song that we're singing here at Autism Network.
that's fantastic.
So we wanted to start with, that was the first thing that we needed to have done, was a new opener to Autism Live that was shorter and, you know, said what we wanted it to say. So on Monday, all of the artists who were involved are going to be on the show.
Oh, fantastic.
To talk about what the process was like for them and what kind of work that they do. And so we're going to be featuring, I have confirmed that the main animator is going to be here, and that the person who created the music is going to be here. And then there were some other people who collaborated, and we're waiting to see whether they're going to be here as well. And then, of course, Jason Weisbrod from Spec Labs will be here to talk about how he is facilitating, so that if you're somebody that has a business and you're like, well, I would like to have someone on the spectrum be the artist for this, but you don't necessarily have the time to mentor them through the process. You know, working with Spec Labs as the intermediary for us, I got to come and just be at meetings where, you know, they asked me questions and collaborated, and then Spec Labs would, you know, help bounce ideas off, and then they would come back to me. It was great. Every part of it was great. If you're not using this as a resource for your business or your concern when you need something, you're missing out, because it was delightful. So they're going to be on the show on Monday to talk about that. We're keeping our fingers crossed. I haven't heard back yet, but we're hopeful. Matt Asner was supposed to be on this last Tuesday, but then, you know, he had to go celebrate his anniversary. It's all about choices. I don't know. But we're so happy for them that they got a chance to celebrate their anniversary, Matt and Nava. But we're hoping that Matt's going to be on next week to talk with us. Have you seen the stars that they're having on?
Yes, it's amazing.
It
so
is
excited about Jason. Yeah, Jason Sudeikis is playing George.
Oh, I'm so excited about Jean Smart and Mandy Patinkin, and the list goes on. Rosario Dawson. It is insane how great the list is of stars that they're having. Oh, and look, Traven's so excited about Phil Lamar. So there we go. Everybody's got their people that they're excited about. You know, Mandy Patinkin for me is the beginning and the end of everything.
I agree.
You know, everything. But I'm also a Ted Lasso fan, so the Jason Sudeikis thing, I can't wait to see. But of course, last year's was so great. I know we've gone over, but I'm going to take a second to say this. Last year's was so great, and I thought that Pete Davidson, like, I was like, you know, I can sort of see that. In the end, it was genius casting. And my favorite moment in the whole thing last year, Spencer Hart was playing Zuzu, and the interaction between Pete and Spencer, like, it shorts my brain out. I can't even find words because it was so amazing that I leapt out of my chair. So I'm so excited that Spencer's playing Zuzu again. Can't wait to see what she does. She is. She's so talented.
She is.
Oh my gosh. And she's so delightful, and she is such an actor's actor. So I'm excited to see her again and to see her interact with Jason Sudeikis.
That's going to be great.
It's too good. It's too good. I can't stand it. So we're hoping that Matt's going to be on. We are having Dr. Grant Pichet back on, and we are having Bonnie Yates next week, and you and I are welcoming back Vince Redmond next Friday.
Okay, great.
So there we go. That's the week shaping up.
Sounds like a great week, Shannon.
It is a great week, and we're very excited as we wing our way towards the Festival of Toys. We're getting ready to launch our new toy guide. My entire brain is about toys, and you guys are not going to believe the toys that we have this year. They are so amazing. So that's coming up soon, and then we'll start the Festival of Toys, and then it's just a hop skip to the end of the year.
That's right.
So,
It'll be over
but
before
new
you know it.
things coming. Lots of new things coming.
Yes.
A new podcast coming. I'm very excited about the things in store. But we're 4 minutes over now, and
Okay.
Tracy's going to get the hook.
Well, it's been a great show.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Nancy. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.
And give yourselves a hug from me. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. See you next time.